Good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for being here. Everybody hear me okay back there?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Well, my testimony, I'll try to get through it. I can't promise that I'll get through it without tears, but I'll try. I grew up in an abusive home. All kinds of abuse, including sexual abuse. From everything I did, since I can remember, I did everything I possibly could to get away from the house. Baseball was one of the ways I got out. I played baseball from ages 4 until I graduated high school. I played other sports as well. In high school I was a 4-sport letterman and all that good stuff, whatever, but baseball was my ticket, I guess. I was always I had to be the best. I had to be the best at everything I did. If I couldn't be the best, I just wouldn't do it. I was hard on myself. I was hard on others. I had an anger problem. I was very angry all the time. I got in a lot of fights. Most of them I started. Anyway, I finally left the house when I was 15. I moved. I was couch surfing for a while. I stayed with my aunt. That was the longest period of time, I guess. I was still going to school this whole time, still doing my thing. I could do it. I was good. I could survive. I just needed to get out of the house. So once I was out of the house, the problems really didn't subside. So, okay, I grew up in Tucson, so I got to get out of Tucson. So I had a scholarship to play baseball, and I said, well, that's still a tie to Tucson because it was still part of who I was at the time, and I didn't want to be anything that I was. So I joined the Army at 17. So now I was out of the house, away from Tucson, so everything's gonna get better, right? Sorta. I got married when I was 18. She had 2 kids at the time. I remember her telling me, you have no idea, you don't want to get married to me. I have 2 kids, that's a lot of baggage. And I said, well, how about you let me make my own decisions? And I really had no idea what I was getting into. Not a clue. But I was cocky. And I told Abby, when I first met her, I said, I'm cocky. And it's because I could do whatever I wanted to do, and it was all gonna be just fine. So I started drinking. After I joined the Army, I started drinking. I started drinking actually quite a bit. It became my baseball, my escape. So I was drinking every single day, a lot every single day. And then in December of 2000, I got medically discharged from the Army. I hurt my back and my knee, and they said, well, you can't do your job anymore, so see ya, you're out. So I had a hard time adjusting because really the military was my life from age 17 until 27. That was pretty much my life. I didn't know how to be a civilian. So after I got out of the Army, we moved to Windsor, and that's when I met Willie. We became friends, and I told him, I said, you know what? I'll be your friend, dude, but I'm not going to talk about Jesus. I'm not going to talk about God. I'm not going to talk about the church. If you start talking about that stuff, I'm done. We're not going to be friends. And he respected that. He really did. So I was enrolled in school at UNC. I was trying to adjust. I was older. All the kids were, right out of high school mostly. And I was this old guy in college trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. And then 9/11 hit. 9/11 hit me really hard. I felt like I abandoned my unit, my buddies. It was just not even a year that I'd been out. And my unit was actually one of the first to go, to get deployed. And that's when my drinking turned more sour, I guess. I drank even more every day. I dropped out of school. I didn't turn the TV off for days, just watching the news. Fell into a deep, deep depression. Couldn't get out of it. Couldn't figure out anything, really. I struggled keeping a job. I could always find a job, but I couldn't keep a job. And I couldn't figure out why. I'm this big, strong, tough guy that can't seem to get his life straight. 2005, I quit drinking, cold turkey, said, okay, I'm done. Got to figure it out because I'm this big, tough guy and I can do it. So I did quit drinking. And then it took about a year and 8 months, and I had my first panic attack. I was working at Safeway here in Windsor as a cashier, and there were probably 6 people in my line, and just all of a sudden, never happened before, didn't know what was going on, really thought I was going to die. They called the paramedics and everything. They came out, ambulance. They said, yeah, it's a panic attack probably. So I went home and I said, okay, well, whatever. That's fine. Went back to work, had another panic attack. And I said, oh boy, what's happening? I don't understand. This really sucks. Didn't leave the house for a long time. Agoraphobic. I was scared that any place I went, anything I did, I was going to have panic attacks, this, that, whatever. So I think it was late 2006. I'm laying on the bathroom floor, and I had had enough. And I told Abby, I said, take me to Willie. This was a Sunday morning, and they had just planted the church. And I said, take me to Willie, because I don't know what to do. So she figured out how to get to where we were going. And pretty much from then on, I went to church, kind of, I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to be there, I guess. I really didn't know what the plan was or anything. And then one Sunday morning, early in 2007, Willie does his thing. He preaches, and he says, Is there anybody that's willing to give his life to Christ right now? And I raised my hand. I didn't know why. I didn't do it purposefully. But I raised my hand and stood up. And it was right then and there that I gave my life to Christ. So during this time, I'm still in church all the time. I gave my life to Christ. Everything's great, right? No, it doesn't work that way. I tried a lot of different jobs thinking, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to succeed. Now I got Christ. I'm good. God's with me. I'm good. Okay, well, in 2008, I ended up in the hospital, inpatient. That was a struggle. Things got better after I got out of the hospital for a little while. Just kind of coasting along, surviving, I guess. Couldn't seem to get out of the depression and anxiety-ridden life that I had. 2012, I ended up back in the inpatient hospital. Things would get better for a little while. And then 2016, excuse me, I ended up back inpatient. And I was thinking, okay, I accepted Christ. Now, why isn't God taking this away? Why isn't God doing this? And I couldn't figure out what's going on. God's supposed to fix this stuff. Why isn't he doing it? So then Commission Church is born. 2007, late 2017. And it started as an equipping mission in the Oberk's house. So we're going to equip everybody to be disciples of God. So we start getting trained, I guess, would be the correct word. And I was kind of lost because I didn't know what I was really training for. God is doing something in me, and I can understand God's doing something in me, but I don't know what it is. I can't, and I kept asking God, please speak to me, talk to me. And during all this time, I had the physical pain too. My back was a mess, my knee was a mess. And I just couldn't figure out what's going on. So the Lord had to show me that I was prideful. I can do it myself. I don't need anybody. So the Lord let me do all these things. He let me get all these jobs, and then they wouldn't work out. I would do this or do that, and I would have the perception that I failed, that I'm a failure. And God was allowing this to happen, and I'll get to why in a minute, but he needed to break me down. So I absolutely had nothing left to give. The Lord showed me that I'm weak, and it's okay to be weak. It's only through his strength that I can accomplish anything. And let me just end with this. 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10. Because of the surpassing greatness of the revelations, for this reason, to keep me from exalting myself, there was given me a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me, to keep me from exalting myself. Concerning this, I implored the Lord 3 times that it might leave me. And he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. Your power is perfected in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, I will rather boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may dwell in me. Therefore, I am well content with weakness, with insults, with distresses, with persecutions and difficulties. For Christ's sake, when I am weak, then I am strong. Thank you.